Simple machines. You have a lot of work to accomplish daily. To be able to do work, you must exert force or effort. If you will just make use of your hands or body to do work, you will use up your body energy and you will get tired easily. There is a need to use objects that can lessen the force you are using to finish the work. You need simple machines to help you in your daily activities. A simple machine is any device that makes work easier and faster by reducing the effort or force used in doing the work. What are the different simple machines and how do they help you in your daily activities? The lever. What do you use to sweep the floor? Open a can and remove a nail from a wood. Broom, can opener, and hammer are levers. A lever is a simple machine that has a rigid or stiff structure called bar, which rotates around a fixed point called the fulcrum. The force that is applied to one part of the bar is called effort. The force that resists or overcomes the effort is called load. There are 3 classes of levers, and each class has the fulcrum, load, and effort at different positions. The first class lever is a lever with a fulcrum at the middle. Again, the first class lever is a lever with a fulcrum at the middle. The hammer, which you use in removing the nail, is an example of this lever. The load, which is the nail, is at one end. The fulcrum, which is the place where the head of the hammer and the surface of the wood meet, is at the middle, and the effort applied is at the handle of the hammer. Other examples of first-class levers are chisel, crowbar, pair of scissors, and pliers. The chisel can illustrate the law of lever, discovered by Archimedes. For a chisel to balance, the effort multiplied by its distance from the fulcrum must equal the load, multiplied by its distance from the fulcrum. Suppose there is a light person who is sitting on one end of the chisel. How can he or she balance a heavy person on the other end? The heavy person must sit closer to the fulcrum, and the light person must sit far from the fulcrum. Can you give other examples of first-class levers? The second-class lever is a lever with a load between the fulcrum and the effort. Again, the second-class lever is a lever with a load between the fulcrum and the effort. Say for example, the bottle opener that you manipulated is an example of a second-class lever. The bottle cap, which is the load, is at the middle of the fulcrum, or the part of the opener touching the surface of the bottle cap, and the effort is at the handle. Can you identify the objects that also belong to the second-class lever? The third-class lever is a lever with the effort between the fulcrum and the load. Again, the third-class lever is a lever with the effort between the fulcrum and the load. The thong is an example of this kind of lever. The object which at the end is the load. The part which you hold is the effort, and the fulcrum is at the other end. Broom, fishing rod, tweezers, mop, and shovel are examples of third-class levers. Inclined plane. An inclined plane is a flat surface whose one end is higher than the other to lift heavy objects with relatively little effort. You had observed in our daily activities that less force is needed to lift an object using an inclined plane as compared when it is just lifted with a bare hands. A ramp is usually used by people to carry heavy loads to a higher place with lesser effort. Stairs is an inclined plane to help people move to a higher place with less effort. Wedge. What do you use to peel and cut the vegetables you are about to cook? Observe a knife. Do you notice the sharp edge? The knife is an example of a wedge. A wedge is a simple machine made up of two inclined planes placed back to back, creating a thick base and a sharp edge. They are used to split things apart, cut things into pieces, or fasten two things together like nails. Less effort is applied to increase force and make splitting, cutting, or fastening things together easier and faster. The sharper the wedge, the less effort you exert to split or cut things. Give examples of wedges you use daily. In your body, there are also wedges that help you. Can you identify them? A screw. A screw is another example of simple machine, which consists of an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. With less effort applied on it, a screw increases the force applied on the object, which makes work easier. Different screws have different uses. Screws are used to lift heavy weights as the jack does, to fasten things together like the screws in your door hinges and the metal end of a bulb, and to bore holes through some materials as the drill being used by a carpenter. Screwdrivers are used with screws. They are used to drive a screw to fasten wood or metal together or to remove the screw to unfasten them. Pulley. Have you noticed how the flag is being raised during a flag ceremony? What makes the flag bearer raise the flag easily? What causes the flag to go up the pole fast? The device at the top of the flagpole is a small wheel that turns on an axle. This is called a pulley. It lifts a load to a higher place without exerting too much effort. There are three kinds of pulley. This includes fixed pulley, movable pulley, and block and tackle pulley. Fixed pulley is made of groove wheel that turns around a stationary axle in which a rope moves. It changes the direction of the force. The flagpole is an example of a fixed pulley. The flag, which is the load, is attached to one end of the rope. The hands pull down the end of the rope to lift the load. A movable pulley is made up of two pulleys, one fixed and another pulley which moves with a load. Less effort is needed to lift a load using a movable pulley than the fixed pulley. A block and tackle pulley is a compound pulley made of a combination of fixed and movable pulleys. The block and tackle pulley divides the work among the lengths of rope. For example, a block and tackle pulley consists of 4 pulleys and 4 lengths of rope. If the load weighs 600 newtons, you will only exert 150 newtons to lift the load because the weight of the load is divided among the 4 lengths of rope. Wheel and axle. A wheel and axle is made of a wheel rigidly attached to a rod called the axle. When the axle turns, the wheel turns too. All vehicles, from primitive to the most modern ones, have wheel and axle or combinations of 2 or more wheels and axles. Other examples of wheel and axle are doorknob, egg beater, and sharpener.